Have you ever met someone who just seems to get it? They're not necessarily the ones with the highest IQ or the most impressive degrees. Instead, they possess a quiet, almost invisible quality that makes them incredibly effective, insightful, and truly intelligent. What is this secret trait? It's not about what they know, but how they learn. It's not about having all the answers, but about asking the right questions. Today, we're diving deep into the one tiny behavior that exposes a person's true intelligence, a behavior most people completely overlook. And by the end of this video, you'll not only be able to spot it in others, but you'll have the tools to cultivate it in yourself. So what is this powerful behavior? It's the ability to say 3 simple words. I don't know. Wait, what? It's in admitting you don't know something, a sign of weakness or ignorance. That's what many of us were taught. From a young age, we're praised for having the right answer. In school, at work, even in social situations, we feel this pressure to appear knowledgeable and competent. Saying, I don't know, can feel like a failure. But here's the paradox. The smartest people in any room are often the ones most comfortable admitting what they do and know. This isn't false modesty. It's the hallmark of a powerful intellectual trait, intellectual humility. Intellectual humility is the awareness that your knowledge is limited and your beliefs might be wrong. It's a willingness to be open to new ideas, to listen to different perspectives, and to change your mind when presented with better evidence. It's the opposite of intellectual arrogance, where someone assumes they know it all and closes themselves off to learning. Think about it. When you pretend to know something you don't, you shut down the conversation. You put up a wall. You block any opportunity to actually learn. Your ego takes the driver's seat and your growth comes to a screeching halt. But when you say, I don't know, or can you explain that to me? Or that's an interesting point. I hadn't considered that. You open a door. You invite knowledge in. You show others that you value their expertise and are genuinely curious. This simple act transforms you from a know-I-tall into a learn-I-tall. And in a world that is constantly changing, being a learn-I-tall is the ultimate superpower. Let's look at a real-world example. Imagine 2 managers, Alex and Ben, in a meeting about a new marketing strategy. A team member proposes a complex idea using terminology neither of them fully understands. Ben, feeling the pressure to look in charge, nods along, pretending he's following. He doesn't want to look unintelligent in front of his team. Later, when he has to make decisions based on this strategy, he's lost. He makes mistakes, his team gets confused, and the project suffers. Now let's look at Alex. When the unfamiliar term comes up, Alex pauses and says, hold on, that's a new term for me. Can you walk me through what that means and how it applies here? Instantly, the dynamic in the room changes. Team member feels valued for their expertise. Others in the room, who are also confused but afraid to ask, feel a sense of relief. Alex gets the clarification needed, understands the strategy deeply, and is able to lead the team effectively. Who was the truly intelligent leader in this scenario? It wasn't the one who pretended to know. It was the one who had the courage to admit they didn't. This principle extends far beyond the workplace. In our personal relationships, intellectual humility is a game changer. When you argue with a friend or partner, do you focus on winning the argument and proving you're right? Or are you able to say, help me understand your perspective because I'm not seeing it that way right now? The first approach leads to resentment and disconnection. The second leads to understanding, empathy, and stronger bonds. Admitting you do and have all the answers about someone else's feelings or experiences is a profound sign of respect and emotional intelligence. So why is this behavior so rare? It boils down to ego and fear. Our ego wants to protect our self-image as a smart, capable person. We're afraid of looking stupid, of being judged, of losing status. But true intelligence isn't about having a high status. It's about having a high capacity for growth. The ego is a fragile shield, while curiosity is an unstoppable engine. Let's explore the science behind this. Studies in psychology have shown a strong correlation between intellectual humility and better decision-making. People who score high on measures of intellectual humility are more likely to weigh evidence objectively less susceptible to confirmation bias, that is, our tendency to favor information that confirms our existing beliefs, and they are better at evaluating the quality of arguments. In other words, they think more critically and clearly because they're not blinded by the need to be right. They're driven by the desire to find the truth, even if that truth contradicts what they previously thought. The great physicist Richard Feynman was a perfect example of this. He was a Nobel laureate, one of the most brilliant minds of the 20th century. Yet he was famous for his relentless questioning and his joy in discovering he was wrong about something, because it meant he had learned something new. He embraced the pleasure of finding things out, and a huge part of that was first admitting what he didn't know. His intelligence wasn't static. It was an active, dynamic process of exploration. So how can we cultivate this trait in our own lives? It starts with small conscious shifts in our behavior and mindset. First, practice active listening. When someone is speaking, listen to understand, not just to reply. Be genuinely curious about their viewpoint, especially if it's different from your own. Ask clarifying questions like, "What I hear you saying is that correct? Or can you tell me more about why you think that?" Second, embrace the phrase, "I don't know." Try using it this week. When you're in a conversation and you're unsure about something, just say it. You might be surprised by how people react. Instead of judgment, you'll likely be met with helpfulness and respect. It feels liberating to let go of the pressure to have all the answers. Follow it up with, "But I'd love to find out," or "What are your thoughts on it?" This turns a moment of uncertainty into an opportunity for connection and learning. Third, seek out different perspectives. Deliberately read books, watch videos, or follow people who challenge your worldview. If you're politically liberal, try to understand the most intelligent arguments from a conservative viewpoint and vice versa. Don't do it to find flaws, but to genuinely understand their reasoning. This builds mental flexibility and helps you see the world in shades of gray instead of black and white. It trains your brain to be comfortable with nuance and complexity, which is a key component of higher-level intelligence. Fourth, learn to separate your identity from your beliefs. You are not your opinions. When someone challenges your idea, they are not attacking you as a person. Seeing this separation allows you to evaluate feedback objectively without getting defensive. Your ideas can be wrong, but that doesn't make you a failure. It just makes you a human who is learning and evolving. The goal is to be committed to your growth, not to your current set of opinions. Finally, reflect on your mistakes. When you get something wrong, don't just brush it aside. Ask yourself, why did I believe that? What evidence was I missing? What can I learn from this? This process, known as metacognition, or thinking about your thinking, is one of the most powerful tools for intellectual growth. Each mistake becomes a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. The person who can comfortably say, "I don't know," is not advertising their ignorance. They're advertising their security, their curiosity, and their commitment to growth. They're signaling that their ego doesn't get in the way of their learning. This tiny, humble behavior is a massive indicator of true functional intelligence, the kind that solves problems, builds relationships, and navigates the complexities of life with wisdom and grace. It's the quiet confidence that values progress over perfection and learning over knowing. So the next time you're in a situation where you feel the pressure to know, I challenge you to take a different path. Have the courage to be curious. Have the strength to be humble. Unlock the power of "I don't know" and watch how it transforms your mind, your relationships, and your world. If this idea resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more content on psychology and self-growth. I'm curious, what are your thoughts on this? I'd love to read them. I'll see you in the next video.